Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about where I've been for the past few months. Okay, so first thing you'll notice is the background has changed. Still have the N54 powered convertible. Got my hands on another G20. We'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, here's where I'm working out of for now. It was actually nice to do some modifications that I didn't need to film. I installed an Android head unit on this E88. So this is my new daily driver. So if you know, I had a 2020 M340i and I've had a G80. So now this is my third G Series 3 Series. Now if you looked at this thing, you saw those big brakes, the Pilot Sport tires, they're actually staggered. You'd think this thing is an M340i, especially since I put that grille on there, but it is not. It's definitely a nicely spec car. You have laser headlights. It's got the assisted driving. It has a sport transmission. It even has a limited slip differential. But she's a 330i. Nicely spec 330i with the adaptive suspension. It has parking assistance. So this is a 19 330i and it has a B46D engine in it, which we're gonna see what the potential is to see if we can make a really good daily driver. This thing gets high 20s, low 30s in the city, believe it or not, or at least with a mix of driving, and definitely high 30s if you are on the highway. So the internals of this engine are pretty much the same as the B58 with a couple cylinders knocked off. I'm thinking there's potential to make in the high 300s, maybe even low 400s with a turbo upgrade. So I'm doing this for the sake of having some different type of content. I like the car, I wanted something fully loaded, but I want to see what the potential is for this. So we're definitely going to get into this platform, and maybe some of you guys will be inspired to get a pretty awesome daily driver. Okay, so when I was looking to get back into a G20 car, I was looking at the M340i's, but I noticed they had a huge premium over these things. Probably about 15K or about 50% the value of what these cars go for used, just because of the B58 engine. One of the main criteria I was looking for was I wanted the assisted driving because I like the traffic jam assistance. I use that pretty much daily now, and I had that on my M340i. One thing I really liked about the G80 was the adaptive suspension. This thing has Pilot Sport 4S tires, and if you notice, they're 255s. So between the adaptive suspension and the staggered Pilot Sport tires, believe it or not, this thing drives more akin to the G80 than my M340i did, but that's saying a lot because it had non-adaptive suspension. It had run flat all seasons that were non-staggered. So that definitely didn't help the cause. This thing has better steering feel, is more like the G80. I think it has a different rack than the M340i. Now, considering this car even has the upgraded brakes, the M Sport package, limited slip differential, etc., it has the underpinnings to be a pretty cool daily driver, considering it goes for about 50% less than a similarly spec'd M340i. In my opinion, if you can make anything over 400 crank horsepower out of this thing, but maybe get in the high 20s MPG, it could be a nice little package. So the plans are, we'll do the usuals, and then we'll see what can happen with the turbo upgrade. I'm going to be working with my buddy from Go Racebox. He's been tuning the B58 engines, and we're going to see what we can get out of this thing, but also keep it as a really good daily. Now this E88 is just been sitting pretty. Haven't done much to it, but we're going to see about modifying this. You know, right now it's still a stock N54, but considering this thing's a manual, it's fun even in stock form. Now for the sake of some content, I'm going to be installing a diffuser on this car. I figured I'd film it. So let's get this thing turned around and get it started. This new kit came with an insert for your tow hook cover. Relatively easy. If you guys have one of these cars, you gotta pop these lower clips off, and then you'll just go around and take it off that way. There you go, that looks a little bit better. On this car, the looks don't match the performance in my opinion. Speed wise, this is a low 14-second car for being generous. a new Accord could embarrass it from a roll for some perspective on speed. But the underpinnings and the way it drives is like bordering on the G80 as long as you're not in it, which is kind of a compliment. So this is just your eBay special. I'll put a link in the description if you guys are looking for one of these. It's really cheap. It's like under 80 bucks in 2023. So I definitely enjoy driving this car. It just needs about another 100 wheel horsepower minimum. And I think that's easily achievable with this platform and maintaining reliability. So just picture a car like this, you know, about 50% cheaper than what an M340i goes for. Can we make it run low 12s and still get 30 miles per gallon mixed in the city? That makes for quite the daily. All right, like I talked about, I apologize for the hiatus. I'm gonna start uploading regularly again, and we'll still get into interesting projects. We'll start doing some N54 content. We'll see what we can do with this B46D engine, which is a variant of the B58. I got an N20 over there. We may slap it into a car as a quick flip, etc. I'm just operating out of a small 2-car garage, but it's functional. So right now this is just being utilized as storage, but on the side of the house we have a spot to work on cars if we need to film something. I still got my single column lift, so we're gonna leverage that once in a while. Not very often, but this is my view in the backyard. So this is a little over an acre to utilize. It's kind of nice. I'm enjoying that part of California. If you guys are wondering what happened to my shop, I actually gave it up to Alex from AS Wraps. I'll put a link in the description for his channel because he actually picked up an E82 drift build. I'm going to be filming a couple videos with him on that. First one's going to be an intercooler installed, the BRSF 7.5 competition intercooler. So look out for that. I'll be uploading it on this channel. That's going to be probably coming up as the next video. And then I'll be operating out of this space. We're going to be modifying this G20. We're going to be modifying the E88. And I even plan to be filming some E90 content. My nephew picked up a 328 that has a couple problems, so we're going to be covering some N52 content, and then the occasional flip car, etc. But I'll get back to uploading regularly now. I had to establish home base, and now that that's figured out, we're going to be getting back into the swing of things. Alright guys, I appreciate your patience during all this. I think it's been 4 months since I uploaded a video, so we're going to definitely change that. If this is the first video you're catching on mine, please consider subscribing. If you liked it, please give it a like, so rank hard. Thanks for watching.